All right, this is 13.2, Verifying Trigonometric Identities, Part 1. We're just going to be doing the front side of the handout today, and this is for Honors Algebra 2. All right, so today we are going to be verifying trig identities, meaning you're going to be given an equation, and you just have to show that one side is equal to the other side, or both sides are equal to each other. All right, so I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks on how to do that and kind of have a mentality of like you're proving this identity. So this is kind of like a proof. All right, so my first tip for you is that it's often easier to begin with the more complicated side. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to be, like simplifying the more complicated side, and you want to show that it's equal to the simpler side to show that those two sides are equal. All right, so I think it's easier to start with the more complex side and to simplify it. Okay, so some things that you can use to make that happen, and I have these techniques. And the first one is substitution. All right, so we had some identities that you guys learned from last lesson, and you can use those identities to substitute, okay, to simplify the expression. Other things you can do is you can factor or multiply to simplify an expression. And remember, the goal is to make it look like the other side. So think about, all right, if I factor this or if I multiply this, is that going to get me closer to looking like the other side? If you have a fraction, you can multiply both numerator and denominator by the same trig function. Or you can write each side of the identity in terms of sine and cosine only. All right, so if you have like a lot of trig functions happening, just write it in terms of sine and cosine and see if that kind of helps simplify things. All right, so those are some techniques, and I'll show you guys those in some examples down here. Okay? All right, I'm going to be jumping around a little bit here. Just follow along. Okay, so starting with number 3. All right, so number 3, we have this trig identity that cosecant of theta times cosine of theta is equal to cotangent of theta, and we want to show that those are indeed equal. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the more complicated side, the left-hand side. And I'm going to substitute cosecant with the trig identity, of 1 over sine. All right, so I'm using that substitution. And that's being multiplied with cosine of theta. All right, and I'm going to leave the right-hand side alone. Now this is just going to be cosine of theta over sine of theta, which, according to another trig identity, is cotangent of theta. All right, and once you get those two sides equal to each other, you are done. All right, so a couple things I want you guys to note. Notice this is a proof, so I'm not trying to skip steps. Every single line should be pretty much a single step. All right, so you want people to be able to follow your logic as you're going through this verifying. All right, and notice I didn't like multiply both sides by sine theta, like I didn't, to try to get rid of sine theta, I didn't do something like that. That's considered illegal in the math world when you're verifying, because by doing that, you're assuming that that equal sign is already true, which is false because that's what we're trying to show. We're trying to verify that the equality is true, so you can't use it if that's what you're trying to prove. Okay, so don't do things like that where you're multiplying on both sides. Okay, let's do another one. Let's jump to number 4. All right, so number 4, I'm going to start with the more complicated side, which is the left-hand side again. And in this case, I look at my numerator, and that is very similar to that Pythagorean identity. So the Pythagorean identity that we learned in last lesson. was that sine square theta plus cosine square theta is equal to 1, meaning if I subtract that sine square theta, I know cosine square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and substitute cosine square theta for that numerator. All right, and then I can simplify by dividing top and bottom by cosine, leaving me with cosine of theta is equal to cosine of theta. Okay, and that is number 4. Okay, I'm going to go back up to number 1. All right, so this one looks a little more complicated. All right, so for this one, I'm going to show you that I can actually still work both sides. I'm just kind of simplifying the left-hand side, and then I'm going to simplify the right-hand side, and hopefully those end up looking equal. Okay, so let's start with the left-hand side. There's a lot of trig functions happening here, so I'm going to use technique number 4 and write each side in terms of sine and cosine only. All right, so then, let me zoom in a little bit. Here I have cosine of theta times, and cotangent is going to be cosine over sine of theta. All right, so then multiplying, I get cosine square theta over sine theta over sine theta. And simplifying that fraction, that complex fraction, whoops, I have cosine square theta over sine square theta. Okay. So that is equal to cotangent square theta, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like that. I'm going to see if I can get my right-hand side to end up looking like that cosine square theta over sine square theta. So let's go ahead and do the same technique on the right-hand side. I'm going to write cosecant of theta as 1 over sine theta, and I'm going to write secant square theta as 1 over cosine square theta. Okay, and let's see what that comes out to be. I got 1 over sine theta over sine theta over cosine square theta. And if I simplify my complex fractions, right, so multiplying the outside is the numerator, and multiplying the inside gets you your denominator. And I get cosine square theta over sine square theta is equal to cosine square theta over sine square theta. So I am done. So once you get those two sides equal to each other, that is your verification. All right. So that is number 1. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try numbers 2, 5, and 6. 2, 5, and 6. Go ahead and give those a shot, and then check your answers with mine. Once you're ready, unpause the video. All right, if you are ready for the answers, here we go. I'm going to walk through these because these are verification problems, so you want to look at each step. All right, so let me show you how I would do number 2. All right, so number 2, first thing I'm going to do is, both sides look pretty complicated, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the left-hand side first. This numerator right here is like a Pythagorean identity. All right, so that Pythagorean identity from our last lesson was that 1, let me move this over, was that 1 plus cotangent square theta is equal to cosecant square theta. And so if I subtract the cotangent over, I get cosecant square theta minus cotangent square theta is equal to 1. So that numerator actually is just equal to 1. All right. And then secant square, I'll go ahead and leave that down there. But since I have 1 over secant square theta, I know this is going to be cosine square theta. Okay, so that simplifies my left-hand side. Let's see what happens on the right. All right, so Pythagorean identity, that guy right there is going to be sine square theta. Okay, and you don't have to show this, by the way. Okay, so I'm not going to show that for that sine square theta. Cotangent square theta, this is cosine square theta over sine square theta, using our quotient identity. And these two sine square thetas will simplify, leaving us with cosine square theta is equal to cosine square theta. All right, and once those two sides look equal, put a check and we are done. Okay, let's go on to number 5. All right, so number 5, we have definitely the more complicated side on the left. So let's work on that one. We have our sine square theta up here. The denominator, that gives me a Pythagorean identity. That's going to be cosine square theta. And that's going to be equal to tangent square theta using our quotient identity. All right, and that's it. Not too complicated. All right, let's do number 6. All right, number 6 definitely is a bit tougher. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the more complicated side, which I think is the left-hand side. All right, and the left-hand side, it's a little bit tricky because if you look at the denominator, that's not our Pythagorean identity, right? Because there's no square on the sign, so I can't do anything there. I do notice that cosine square theta, though, and if I look at the entire problem, everything is in sine except that cosine square theta. So I'm actually going to use the Pythagorean identity, but I'm actually going to make that cosine square theta a little more complicated, which might sound counterintuitive, but then that way everything is in terms of sine. So I'm going to replace or substitute that cosine square theta with 1 minus sine square theta. And again, the reason why I'm doing that is because everything is in terms of sine, so that might get me a little bit closer to verifying. All right, my next step here, we actually haven't used the second technique yet, factoring. So we can actually factor this numerator. All right, because we have a difference of perfect squares. So that actually factors to 1 plus sine theta times 1 minus sine theta. All right, so I'm actually factoring that using the difference of perfect square. You guys are used to seeing it as like a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b, so same thing. All right, and now you can see that that helps us get to our final answer. That 1 minus sine theta divides, and that leaves us with 1 plus sine theta is equal to 1 plus sine theta. All right, and that's the answer. Now, I want to show you guys something that I see a lot of students do that is actually incorrect. So down here, I'm going to show you kind of what I don't want you to do with this problem. Okay, so the original problem I'll rewrite here real quick. And this is what I see a lot of students do that you are not allowed to do. Students will multiply both sides by 1 minus sine theta, 1 minus sine theta, and then say cosine square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta after they FOIL, and therefore cosine square theta is equal to cosine square theta. And they're like, yay, I did it. That is actually incorrect because, again, you multiplied both sides by 1 minus sine theta, which we can't do because we don't know if that equal sign is true yet, right? Our job is to verify that that equal sign is true. So you multiplying both sides of the equation using that property of equality is not good because, well, that's your job. Your job is to try to prove that it's equal, and you're assuming it's equal when you multiply both sides. So you can't do that, okay? So, bad, do not multiply both sides of that equation because, again, we don't know if that equal sign is true until we've verified it. So, use the green part. All right, that's it for the first part of our lesson, and Mr. P will finish it off on the backside.